Today we have a top 3 challenge. My 3 favorite Nintendo Entertainment System games of all time versus his 3 favorites. We're going to see who is the best. Welcome to this top 3 challenge, Nintendo. Welcome back to EBN, guys, where we are live every Saturday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. You are about to watch me destroy this fool right here on my left.
My top 3 is going to be way better than Coach's. After you guys hear it, you guys let us know in the comments below and tell us your top 3 NES games.
Yeah, we'll get into your top 3s in a second, but let me go ahead and destroy this guy real quick. Right. So we're talking singular entries, not entire franchises, not multiple games. One singular game. Yep. What is your top 3 against what is mine? Let's get into this. Let the games begin.
Here we go.
My number 3 favorite game of all time, we're counting down going backwards, is Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden is an action-packed, side-scrolling platformer game released for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Players step into the shoes of Ryu Hayabusa, a skilled ninja on a quest to avenge his father's death and retrieve a stolen artifact. Set in a dark and dangerous world, players must navigate through challenging levels utilizing Ryu's acrobatic skills and deadly ninja weapons to defeat enemies and overcome obstacles. With its fast-paced gameplay, cinematic cutscenes, which I love by the way, and challenging difficulty, Ninja Gaiden provided an intense and immersive experience that captivated players, making it a beloved and influential game in the NES library. Brother, Ninja Gaiden, loved playing it. Great soundtrack, great cutscenes. I even like to just hit power on the game and watch the entire story unfold before the gameplay actually begins. We're talking about one of the great side-scrollers in the history of gaming, period.
Yeah, Ninja Gaiden, it was a good game. It was a lot of fun. I like that game too. It's not my top 3, but it's a good game. I like it. I like it.
Your loss.
All right, guys. So my top 3 NES game, my number 3 is Contra, and I absolutely loved this game. Now, Contra is an iconic run-and-gun action game released for the NES. Players assume the roles of 2 commandos, Bill Reiser and Lance Bean, as they fight against an alien invasion. It had a lot of stuff that they pulled from the Aliens movie. If you guys played the game, you could tell that they really liked the Aliens movie when they did this game. But your characters are armed with an array of powerful weapons. Players must navigate through various side-scrolling levels, battling hordes of enemy soldiers, robots, and monstrous creatures. With its fast-paced gameplay, intense boss fights, and cooperative multiplayer mode, which was really fun playing with a friend, Contra provided an exhilarating and challenging experience that solidified its status as a beloved classic in the NES library.
So I was told, your brother actually told me that you never beat Contra without using the cheat code, so I don't know.
I didn't. I still remember up, down, left, right, BA, select, start for 2 players, start for 1 player.
Yeah.
But I will never forget that code for that game.
Oh, no doubt.
And yeah, I've never beaten it without using that code. Never. I've always had to use the code because I wasn't really like a patient gamer, back then. I was just running and gunning. I wasn't like trying to dodge everything or take my time, So, I always had to use the code.
So that's one of my favorite games as well. Could easily make my top 3 list. However, it did not. But I love the game going. It's a classic. Yeah. It has extremely high replayability even today. Yeah, if you're going to go back and play a Nintendo game, Contra is worthy to go back. It's a quick game too. You could have it beaten in 30 minutes.
Yeah. Me and you actually went through it our first year going to Icon when we stayed in the hotel together.
We sure did.
Brought my little NES with all the ROMs on it. We went through and played it.
A lot of fun. Yeah. That's a good pick. Good pick, Nick, but sorry, you're still losing. Right, guys? Right?
No.
All right, everybody. It is time for Coach's number 2 game. Favorite Nintendo Entertainment System games of all time. My number 2 is Mega Man 2. Mega Man 2 is a highly acclaimed action platformer game released for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Players assume the role of Mega Man, a robotic hero, as he battles against the evil Dr. Wily and his army of robot masters. With its iconic gameplay formula, players must defeat each robot master and acquire their unique abilities known as Robot Master Weapons, which can be used strategically to overcome obstacles and defeat enemies. With its challenging levels, memorable boss battles, and catchy music, Mega Man 2 became a beloved classic, praised for its tight gameplay mechanics and engaging experience, solidifying its place as one of the most influential and beloved games in the Mega Man series. So let me just tell you, my parents took me to the store and they said you could get one Nintendo game, which Nintendo games were expensive back in the day, guys.
They were.
Don't think that they were cheap.
No.
My parents said you could go get one game. And like, I was like looking and I was just drawn to Mega Man 2. I had never even played Mega Man, had never even rented the game. No one had ever told me it was any good. And I just on a whim told my parents I wanted that one, Mega Man 2. I went home and within about 10 minutes, I knew I had chosen wisely. It blew my mind. Beating the levels, beating the robots, and it was freaking hard too. That heat board where you're jumping around, holy crap, dude. Still today, that I always do the heat board freaking last. But that great soundtrack, great gameplay. I love the abilities. It's just freaking awesome. It's another one of those timeless classics.
Yeah, it was a really fun game. I love all the Mega Man series. Like I watched Jay from the Game Chasers play it on his streams, and something that he does that I never did growing up is when he would beat a boss and get their weapon or their ability, he would use that ability in the other levels. You know,
Sure.
I never did that. I only used it for the boss. So every single level, I just used his regular just shooting.
Makes it easier.
Gun.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I'd watch Jay play it, he would just go through it, you know, by switching and using all the different boss abilities that he would gain, and he was able to get through the boards a lot easier. And I never did that because I always remember being like, these games are so hard. But if I would have done that, it probably would have made it a lot easier.
Sure, absolutely.
All right, guys. So my number 2 all-time NES game is The Legend of Zelda. So The Legend of Zelda is an iconic action-adventure game released for the NES. Players embark on a quest as the hero Link. Now, a lot of people always thought Link was actually Zelda, but Zelda's actually the princess. And I remember that as a kid, people being like, oh, I love Zelda, and they were actually referring to Link. You go on this adventure as Link to rescue Princess Zelda and defeat the evil Ganon. Set in the vast kingdom of Hyrule, players must explore dungeons, solve puzzles, and battle a variety of enemies in order to collect powerful items and strengthen their abilities. With its open-world exploration, immersive storytelling, and innovative gameplay mechanics, The Legend of Zelda revolutionized the adventure genre and became a timeless classic that continues to captivate players to this day. Now, guys, you know Zelda's been around for a long, long time, and they've come out with so many games, but the original one is by far my favorite. I've played many of the other ones, and I like them a lot as well, but the original one, it can't be beat for me. It's just
Lots of
too
great
much
games.
nostalgia.
Lots of great games in that series.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Very iconic. Man, I remember the first time I rented that game. I had never played an adventure game before. And my mother took me. I had a foot-long chili dog from Dairy Queen. And I go to the video rental place and I get The Legend of Zelda, and I was like, ooh, the cartridge is gold. And I'm in the 3rd grade and I pop it in the Nintendo and I hit power and I start playing and I'm like, what the freak is this game? I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Where do I go? What do I do? I sat there, my little fat self, and ate my foot-long chili dog. And by the time I was done with the game. I hit the power and I'm like, this is the worst rental I've ever chosen. I'm never playing this game again. But as I got older, I definitely came to appreciate this series. It is one of the greatest.
Absolutely.
My number 1 Nintendo Entertainment System game of all time, Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse is an action platformer game released for the NES. Set in the medieval world of Transylvania, players embark on a perilous journey as Trevor Belmont, the vampire hunter, in the quest to defeat the evil Count Dracula. Along the way, Trevor encounters other characters with unique abilities that can join his team, adding strategic elements to the gameplay, with its challenging levels, atmospheric graphics, and haunting music, which is freaking dope, by the way. Castlevania 3 offers an immersive and exciting experience for players seeking adventure in the realm of classic NES gaming. Bro, let me just tell you, there's something about evil and Dracula and having that whip and that freaking jamming ass soundtrack music, man.
Yeah.
Look, I almost picked Castlevania, but Castlevania could have been in my top 3, but Castlevania 3 is my favorite. It was such a great game. Not only could you be Trevor Belmont, you could also be 2 other characters that you acquired throughout the game who had special abilities. The game was freaking incredible. Like, it was so good. And the great thing about it for Castlevania was that the first one, iconic, one of the greatest games of all time. And then you go to Simon's Quest, Castlevania 2, which was a big, hot turd.
Yeah, a lot of people did not like that game.
Nobody liked it. And then the soundtrack's great, and you're still one of the Belmonts with the whip, and you're doing your thing, but it was just not what it was. But they definitely fixed it with Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse, one of the very best games I've ever played on any system.
Yeah, it was a fun series. I love the Castlevania series. That would definitely be in my top 10, but not quite my top 3. All right, guys, so my number 1 game all time on the NES, and I know probably a lot of people are probably going to agree here, Super Mario Brothers 3. So Super Mario Brothers 3 is a groundbreaking platform game released for the NES. Players join Mario and Luigi on a grand adventure across the Mushroom Kingdom to once again, rescue Princess Peach from the clutches of the nefarious Bowser. With its iconic power-ups like the Tanuki suit and the frog suit, players can navigate through diverse and imaginative levels, each with its own unique challenges and secrets to discover. Featuring vibrant graphics, memorable music, and tight controls, Super Mario Bros. 3 became a beloved classic, setting a new standard for platform games and cementing the Mario franchise as one of the most iconic and influential in gaming history. And guys, my personal favorite on Mario 3 was always the raccoon suit. I always tried to get as many leaves as absolutely possible. Second would probably be Fireball. I like the Tanuki suit and the frog suit. But man, what a fun game from start to finish. Every board was unique. All the secrets that you could discover in the game. The
whistles.
Yeah, the whistles, the warps. And then
How
you
about
got
the giant level, dude?
Yeah, the giant level, which was iconic. Absolutely loved that whole world. And then you had like the secret coin ships that you could unlock. There was so many things in this game. It took Mario to a whole new level as a franchise. And to me, it's the best game on the entire system.
And the hype for the game was real when it came out.
Oh, God, yeah.
We spent an entire summer when I was in the 5th grade just playing Mario 3. Every kid in the neighborhood in my room, we're just like grinding on Mario 3. A lot of fun back then. So,
what was that movie that came out before the game came out?
The Wizard.
You found out, the Wizard. Yeah, that's what it was. Yep. The Wizard, where you found out how to get one of the whistles.
The whistles
in the first world. Yeah,
that's right.
Tons of fun stuff to discover in that game. Yep.
All right, guys. Well, those are our top 3 choices. We want to know what your top 3 choices are as well. Also, if you don't mind, for you to tell us who won the challenge between myself and Nick, just for a really quick review, I chose Ninja Gaiden, Mega Man 2, and Castlevania 3. Nick chose Contra, The Legend of Zelda, and Super Mario Bros. 3. Yep. For your vote to count and who won between the two of us, you must vote on our poll on our community page, not in the comments here. In the comments here, give us your top 3 list, and if you have any suggestions for the next round of top 3 challenges, let us know. We would be glad to hit those as well. Movies, shows, games, music, you name it,
No.
I will defeat Nick.
Yeah. Nope. Not happening. But you can try.
All right, guys. Thanks for being here. You are Echo Base Network. See you on the next one.
Bye, guys.